Welcome to our channel.
By the time Marshall Carpenter's father broke down the barricaded door of his son's apartment and physically ripped him away from his electronic devices, the 25-year-old was in a bad way. He could not bear to live a life that didn't involve hours upon hours of uninterrupted screen time. I was playing video games 14 or 15 hours a day. I had Netflix on a loop in the background, and any time there was the tiniest break in any of that, I would be playing a game on my phone or sending lonely texts to ex-girlfriends, Carpenter says. We are sitting in a small, plain apartment in a nondescript condo complex in Redmond, Washington, on the outskirts of Seattle. Marshall shares the apartment with other men in their 20s, all of whom have recently emerged from a unique internet addiction rehab program called Restart Life. I was basically living on Dr. Pepper, which is packed with caffeine and sugar. I would get weak from not eating, but I would only notice it when I got so shaky I stopped being able to think and play well, he adds. By then, he'd already had to drop out of university in Michigan and had lost his sports scholarship. His new friends Charlie and Peter nod sagely. Charlie Brack, 28, was suicidal and had lost his job when he realized his online gaming was totally out of control. He can't remember a time in his life before he was not playing video games of some kind. He reckons he began when he was about 4 and was addicted by the age of 9. For Peter, 31, who preferred to withhold his last name, the low came when he had been homeless for 6 months and was living in his car. Advertisement. I would stay in church parking lots and put sunshades up on the windows and spend all day in my car on my tablet device, he says. He was addicted to internet porn, masturbating 6 to 10 times a day, to the point where he was bleeding but would continue. When he wasn't doing that, he was so immersed in the fantasy battle game World of Warcraft that in his mind, he was no longer a person sitting at a screen, but an avatar, the bold dwarvish hero Tarakalas, shooting guns and assassinating the enemy as he ran through a Tolkien-esque virtual realm. And when he wasn't doing that, he would read online news reports obsessively and exercise his political opinions and a hair-trigger temper in the comment section of The Economist, projecting himself pseudonymously as a swaggering blogger cum troll. I was a virgin until I was 29. Then I had sex with a lap dancer at a strip club. That's something I never thought I would do, he says. After completing the initial $25,000, 45-day residential stage at the main campus a few miles away, clients move into the cheaper, off-site secondary phase. Here they get to share a normal apartment, on the condition that they continue with psychotherapy, attend Alcoholics Anonymous-style 12-step meetings, search for work and avoid the internet for a minimum of 6 months. Marshall, Charlie and Peter successfully completed the second phase and have graduated from the Restart program, but they have chosen to stay in the same apartment complex and rent with other recovering gamers as they continue to reboot their lives. Mostly they carry only flip phones and have to go to the library when they want to check email. I'm taking my life in 6-month chunks at this stage. So far I haven't relapsed into gaming and I'm feeling optimistic, says Brack. 9 miles east, down a dirt track off a country road that winds through forests, 6 young men are sitting in a wooden cabin amid a cluster of moss-draped trees, the Restart campus. Advertisement. Spring sunshine is flooding through the windows and the only sounds are birds singing and the men cracking their knuckles as they stare at the floor. They have recently arrived at rehab. Hillary Cash, a psychotherapist and the chief clinical officer at Restart, asks the guys to begin a communication exercise. Philip, 22, steps into the middle of the group. He's been here for 3 weeks and is on a year's medical leave from Duke University after getting hooked on Dota 2, the sequel to the fantasy battle game Defense of the Ancients. He asks Adam, who only arrived 4 days ago and is fidgeting awkwardly, to stand up and face him. The real names of those currently in the residential program have been withheld. Kevin, who has been here for 4 weeks, coaches them through an exercise known in counseling circles as the listening cycle, designed to facilitate emotional conversations and relationships. It's a basic introduction for the new guy. Fears grow for children addicted to online games. Read more. Philip, who was underweight when he arrived, says to Adam, who is overweight, "I'm worried that you're not eating healthily. I noticed you've been skipping dinner." Adam is meant to repeat back to Philip what he heard him say. The problem is, he mumbles, barely audible, and can't seem to remember what he's just been told. He's unable to focus, and the air is thick with reluctance and embarrassment. Stephen, another newbie, is gazing at the ceiling, yawning, sighing, then looking mildly irritated. Alex, 20, comes to the rescue. He arrived at rehab in January but has popped back to visit the group and explains, "It's so hard at the beginning. Day 1 here, I was a wreck, and the first 2 weeks I was backsliding." His games of choice were The Legend of Zelda, a solo action-adventure series, where instead of being the depressed piece of shit I was in real life he could exist as a swashbuckling hero. Adapting to a tech-free world structured around rural communal living and social skills was a nightmare, he says. "I wouldn't join in at first and I got called out for it by the others." Thank you for watching our video. Do not forget to subscribe to see our next video.